All right, ready to dive deep into Ragnarok.
Absolutely. You've got a pretty fascinating collection of sources here. Maps, historical records, even some whispers about secret societies.
Yeah, there's definitely a puzzle here. And right at the center, there's this scientist named Herico. Because I guess our mission today is to figure out, well, what is his role in this world? What kind of forces is he up against? And what's really at stake here?
You know, what's really interesting to me is that Herico, he isn't like some legendary hero. He's not some, powerful sorcerer or anything. He's a scientist.
Right.
And what drives him is this quest for truth and for justice. And I think to really understand his story, we need to start by understanding the really complex world that he lives in. So let's start with the two major nations, the Republic of Schwarzwald and the Rune Midgard's kingdom.
Okay, so we've got these two distinct worlds.
Yeah.
And they seem to be almost clashing in their ideologies.
Right.
We've got Schwarzwald, it's this beacon of technological advancement, almost futuristic. They've got airships, that floating city of Juno. And then there's Rune Midgard, it's steeped in tradition. They've got knights and ancient prophecies, and they're ruled by a monarchy from their capital, Frontera.
It's like a fantasy world met the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. Exactly.
And, it's this clash of ideologies that Herico is caught in the middle of. He's a product of that Schwarzwald scientific innovation, but his journey, his path, it seems to be leading him toward uncovering these secrets that are buried deep within Rune Midgard's history.
Speaking of history, our sources, they mention this rather unsettling figure from Rune Midgard's past, King Schmitz. The Mad King.
Oh, yeah.
This guy sounds like a real piece of work, like obsessed with immortality, building these extravagant palaces.
Right.
And he even sacrificed his own people to demons, just desperately trying to cheat death.
King Schmitz's reign, it really is this stark example of how the pursuit of power it can corrupt even the most well-intentioned individuals. And the ruins of his city, that opulent city, Glassheim, they stand as a testament to his ambition and its ultimate failure.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that his legacy lives on, right? It's not just in those crumbling stones,
right?
But in this unwavering loyalty of his former adjutant, Heinrich.
Heinrich, the king's right-hand man, still trying to revive the royal guard after centuries.
Talk about dedication, right?
Yeah, it makes you wonder what hold Schmitz had over him, what ideals or promises fueled that kind of loyalty, centuries later.
Yeah, and that loyalty, it might actually be a key piece in understanding Herico's journey, right?
I think so. Our sources, they suggest that Heinrich, through his connection to Schmitz, may actually possess knowledge about the heart of Ymir, which is this powerful artifact at the center of many conflicts in Ragnarok.
A heart of Ymir. We've seen mentions of this in a lot of the sources.
Yes.
It's this shattered artifact.
Yes.
And each fragment, it's imbued with this immense power. It's almost like a ticking time bomb. Everyone from these power-hungry corporations to necromancers, they all want to control these fragments.
And that brings us back to Schwarzwald. And the Reckenberg Corporation, they're not just some company. They are a driving force behind the nation's progress, and they wield this unsettling level of influence.
Right.
And their pursuit of knowledge, especially their research on the heart of Ymir, it really raises some serious ethical questions.
Their labs, they seem to be a hotbed for these questionable experiments. Especially when it comes to harnessing the heart of Ymir's power.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to play God.
Yeah.
Pushing the boundaries of science and ethics in this relentless pursuit of control.
And it's within those shadowy corridors of Reichenberg that we find another piece of Herico's story, right?
I think so. He was once a lab assistant to Professor Varmint.
Right.
This brilliant scientist who is responsible for creating rune stones, artificial versions of the Heart of Ymir fragments.
Wow.
But Varmint, he vanished under very mysterious circumstances,
right,
leaving behind this legacy that's shrouded in secrecy and suspicion.
So Herico, driven by this sense of justice and maybe even loyalty to his old mentor, he sets out to uncover the truth behind Varmint's disappearance and to expose all of Reichenberg's wrongdoings.
He's like a scientific detective navigating this world of corporate espionage and dangerous secrets.
But he's not alone in this quest, right?
You're right. Our sources, they hint at the existence of this group called the Secret Wing.
Okay.
And they are a clandestine organization led by none other than President Weierstrass of Schwarzwald.
Wait a second.
Yes.
The president himself. He's leading a secret rebellion against the very corporation that fuels his nation's progress.
Yeah.
That's some serious political intrigue.
It really is. It makes you wonder what lengths he's willing to go to achieve his goals.
Right, what compromises he's had to make along the way.
And that's where I think Herico's role, it becomes even more crucial,
Okay.
His scientific knowledge, his understanding of how Reichenbach works on the inside, it could be the key to dismantling this corporation from within.
Right, he's the one who can provide the evidence.
Proof.
The proof of their unethical experiments, the manipulations, their dangerous ambitions.
But it's not just about gathering evidence, it's about survival.
Yeah.
Because remember, there are other players in this game, each with their own agendas when it comes to the heart of Ymir.
We've got Himmelmez,
Yeah.
this powerful Valkyrie necromancer hybrid. And she's seeking to achieve godhood through the heart's power.
Right.
And then there's the Phrygianity.
Oh, yeah.
This mysterious group experimenting on children with these Heart of Ymir fragments. It's a very dangerous landscape that Herico's navigating here.
It really is. There are threats lurking around every corner.
So we've got a scientist trying to expose corporate corruption. And he's caught in this web of ancient prophecies, secret societies, and people who want to reshape reality itself.
What makes his story so compelling is he's not this superhuman hero.
Right.
He's a scientist driven by his ideals, and he's facing down forces that could literally reshape, the very fabric of reality.
It's a real David versus Goliath scenario.
Yeah.
But the stakes are way higher.
Way higher.
The fate of Ragnarok itself, it might hinge on Herico's success, but I think to understand his chances, we need to delve deeper into this heart of Ymir. What are its origins? What's its true potential? And what are the dangers that it poses?
And that's where our deep dive continues. Join us next time as we uncover the secrets of the heart of Ymir and how Herico's quest intertwines with this powerful artifact. Welcome back to our deep dive into Ragnarok. We left off talking about the heart of Ymir, this fragmented source of immense power. You're right, it is like a ticking time bomb. But to understand why it's so coveted, we need to go back to the very origins of this world.
Okay, so back to the myths and legends. From what I've gathered, the heart of Ymir, it wasn't always shattered. It was whole, the very essence of existence, until Odin the Allfather shattered it to create the world of Midgard. It's a story of creation through sacrifice.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really explain why everyone's so eager to put the pieces back together now.
Yeah, that's the crux of the matter. Each fragment, each piece, it retains a spark of that heart's original power, this potential to not just influence, but to reshape reality. Gathering those fragments, it's not just about control, it's about wielding the power of creation itself.
And that's where things get really scary. We're not just talking about controlling armies or nations. We're talking about controlling the very fabric of existence.
Yeah.
No wonder everyone from Reichenbach to Himmelmez is obsessed with it.
Exactly, but their motivations are vastly different. Reichenbach, driven by those corporate ambitions, they likely want to harness the heart's power for technological advancement, maybe even achieving a form of immortality. Imagine a world where death itself is disrupted, a world where Reichenbach dictates the terms of existence.
A terrifying thought, especially considering their track record with ethical boundaries. But what about Himmelmez? Her goals, they seem a bit more mystical. She's not after corporate profits, she's after godhood.
Yeah, Himmelmez's ambition is rooted in that ancient mythology. You see, achieving godhood in Ragnarok, it isn't about benevolent rule. It's about wielding power on a cosmic scale, commanding the forces of life and death, shaping reality to her will.
And if she succeeds in gathering enough Heart of Ymir fragments, she could very well achieve that level of power. Imagine a world where she commands legions of undead, where those who defy her face a fate worse than death. It's a bleak picture, to say the least.
And then there's the Phrygianity, perhaps the most enigmatic faction of all. Their motives, they remain shrouded in secrecy. But those experiments on children using the Heart of Ymir fragments, it suggests a desire to manipulate the very essence of life itself.
It's a disturbing thought. Are they trying to create a new race?
Yeah.
Or perhaps corrupt existing life forms, twisting them into something unnatural? Whatever their goals, their methods are clearly unethical and potentially devastating.
And it's against this backdrop of ambition and potential catastrophe that Herico emerges. He's not a warrior. He's not a sorcerer. He's a scientist armed with knowledge and a burning desire for justice. His journey is one of uncovering the truth, exposing the darkness, and ultimately protecting the world from the misuse of the heart of Ymir.
He's a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the brink. But how does one man, even a brilliant scientist, hope to stand against such powerful forces?
That's where his network of allies comes in. Remember, he's not acting alone. He has the potential support of President Weierstrass and the Secret Wing. They're dedicated to dismantling Reichenbach from within.
Right, the president leading a double life, fighting against the very corporation that sustains his nation. It's a risky gamble, but if they're successful, it could cripple Reichenberg's operations and expose their darkest secrets.
And then there's Heinrich the Mad King's loyal adjutant. He might hold crucial information about the heart of Ymir, perhaps even knowledge of hidden fragments or rituals that could be used to counter its misuse.
Heinrich's a tough nut to crack, though. Centuries of loyalty don't just vanish overnight. It'll take some serious persuasion to get him to betray his king's memory, even if it's for the greater good.
And let's not forget the sages of Juno scholars with vast knowledge of history, magic, and the heart of Ymir itself. Their expertise could be invaluable in understanding the heart's true nature and finding ways to counter its potentially destructive power.
So we've got a president playing a dangerous game, a king's loyal servant guarding ancient secrets, and a group of scholars who might hold the key to understanding the heart of Ymir. It's an unlikely alliance, but with Herico at the helm, their combined knowledge and resources could tip the scales.
But even with these allies, Herico's task is monumental. He needs to expose Reichenberg, stop Himmelmez, and somehow thwart the Phrygianides' plans, all while navigating a world steeped in danger and deceit.
And let's not forget about the adventurer. They seem to be a key player in Herico's plan, acting as his eyes and ears on the ground, infiltrating Reichenberg facilities, gathering evidence, and even disrupting their operations.
Yes, the adventurer is crucial. Their skills in combat espionage and maybe even diplomacy will be vital to Herico's success. Imagine them infiltrating the Regenschirm laboratory in Leithalsen, stealing research data on the Varmint project, or sabotaging the production of runestones to cripple Reichenberg's grip on the world's energy supply.
Hold on, the Varmint project, that's the one focused on perfecting those artificial heart of Ymir fragments, right? So they're not content with just studying the real deal, they're trying to mass produce their own versions. Talk about playing with fire.
Exactly. And that's why disrupting this project is so crucial. If Reichenberg succeeds in creating stable and controllable runestones, the implications are staggering. They could control the flow of energy, dictate the terms of technological advancement, and potentially reshape the world according to their own ambitions.
And with the heart of Ymir already so unstable, who knows what unintended consequences could arise from mass-produced fragments. It's a recipe for chaos, and Herico seems to be the only one trying to stop it.
And that brings us back to Heinrich. You mentioned his connection to the Mad King. Could Schmitz's obsession with immortality hold clues to understanding the heart of Ymir? Could Heinrich be the key to unlocking those secrets?
It's certainly a possibility Schmitz delved into dark magic, seeking to cheat death. His knowledge of the heart of Ymir, if Heinrich possesses it, could be invaluable in countering its misuse.
But extracting that knowledge from Heinrich won't be easy. His loyalty to Schmitz runs deep. It'll take more than just persuasion. It might require appealing to his sense of duty, convincing him that protecting the heart of Ymir is essential to preserving the legacy of Rune Midgard's itself.
It's a delicate dance, for sure. But if successful, it could provide Herico with the knowledge he needs to understand the heart's true nature, its strengths, its weaknesses, perhaps even ways to neutralize its destructive potential.
And that's where the sages of Juno come in. Their expertise in ancient lore, magical artifacts, and the history of the heart of Ymir could be crucial in deciphering any information Heinrich might possess.
They're like the ultimate research team, the keepers of forbidden knowledge. But are they willing to get involved in this dangerous game? Academics aren't exactly known for their love of espionage and risky ventures.
That's where Herico's persuasive skills will be put to the test. He needs to convince the sages that the threat posed by Reichenberg, Himmelmez, and the Phrygianidae is real, immediate, and requires their unique expertise to avert catastrophe.
So we've got a plan starting to take shape. Expose Reichenberg, enlist the help of unlikely allies, gather knowledge from the most unexpected sources, and ultimately find a way to control or neutralize the heart of Ymir before it falls into the wrong hands. It's a long shot, but with Herico's determination and the support of his allies, there might be a chance.
But let's not forget about the other players in this game. While Herico is building his alliance, Himmelmez and the Phrygianidae are actively seeking Heart of Ymir fragments, their power growing with each piece they acquire.
Right, we can't lose sight of the immediate threats. Himmelmez's quest for godhood is a ticking time bomb, and the Phrygianidae's sinister experiments could have unimaginable consequences. The stakes are incredibly high, and the fate of Ragnarok hangs in the balance. Okay, so we're back, and the tension is definitely building. We've talked about the stakes, a world on the brink, powerful forces, all fighting for control of the heart of Ymir. And our scientist, Herico, trying to figure out how to navigate it all. But we haven't really explored those other big players, Himmelmez and the Phrygianidae. What's driving them? What does victory look like if they win?
It's easy to call them villains, but I think their motivations are more complex than that. Like, take Himmelmesh. She isn't just motivated by greed or lust for power. Her ambition, it's rooted in those ancient myths of Ragnarok. It's this deep desire to transcend her mortality, to achieve godhood.
So she doesn't just want to rule the world, she wants to reshape it according to her own vision. But what does that even mean? Would it be like a world of eternal darkness with, the undead ruling everything? Or is there something more, nuanced to what she wants?
That's the thing, right? It's unsettling. We only have these glimpses into how she operates. Necromancy, manipulation of souls, this relentless pursuit of those heart of Ymir fragments. But her ultimate goals, what kind of world she wants to create, that's still a mystery.
It's like a puzzle box with a missing piece. We can see the potential threats, but the full picture, it's still hidden. And then there's the Phrygianity, even more enigmatic, experimenting on children with heart of Ymir fragments. That's a whole other level of disturbing.
I agree. Their motives, they're the hardest ones to figure out. Some people think they're trying to create a new race, beings infused with the heart of Ymir's power, like a twisted version of the gods. Others believe they're trying to corrupt existing life, warp it into something unnatural to serve their own agenda.
So we've got a potential god queen with an undead army and a shadowy cult that's manipulating like the essence of life itself. It's a lot to take in, and it makes Herico's mission seem almost impossible.
His chances are definitely slim. He's going up against forces that could destroy this world.
Right.
But what Herico has that his opponents don't is a belief in something bigger than himself. Yeah. He's fighting for justice, for truth, for protecting life itself.
It's that idealism, that belief in a better future, that's what drives him. He's not looking for power or personal gain.
Right.
He's trying to protect the world from the people who would exploit it for their own selfish ambitions.
And that's what makes his story so compelling, I think. He's not a legendary hero. He's not some chosen one. He's a scientist, driven by his ideals, facing down these forces that could literally reshape reality.
It's a good reminder that even when the odds are stacked against you, even when you're surrounded by darkness and despair, the human spirit, it can still endure. It can resist.
Yeah.
And it can fight for what's right.
Absolutely. And as we come to the end of our deep dive into the world of Ragnarok, we want to leave you with a question. What role would you play in this story? Would you stand with Herico, fighting for justice and a better future? Or would you give in to those temptations of power, trying to control the very essence of existence?
The choice, as always, is yours. But as you keep exploring Ragnarok, remember this. The fate of this world, it's shaped by the choices we make, the actions we take, and the ideals we choose to uphold. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and never lose sight of that power of hope, even when things seem dark.